South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Headliners. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. 2 TSA agents at Miami International Airport are accused of stealing from passengers. It was as they were going through security at the airport. So, what can travelers do to protect themselves from this kind of theft? CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten got some answers.
We trust that TSA got it and they wouldn't do anything wrong, tamper with my stuff.
Travelers surprised to hear that 2 TSA agents are accused of stealing from passengers at MIA's E-checkpoint. The state attorney's office released this video. Here we see agents concentrating on this bag. Moments later, we watch as one of them puts his hand in his pocket. According to the police report, the pair is accused of removing $600 from a passenger's wallet while the passenger was in the screening process.
I think they have a lot of nerve because don't they realize that they're on camera? These are places that are monitored so much that, I mean, what are they thinking? They're going to be seen doing what they're doing.
Josue Gonzalez and Liberius Williams were arrested and charged in the case back in July. The police report said they would distract passengers as they were being screened to steal monies from their belongings. Here's more surveillance video where we see a TSA agent appear to unzip a bag and pull something out, then meet up with it before going into X-ray and again putting his hands in his pocket.
Before I reach the security area, I take off my watch and take off my ring and my phone, my wallet, and put it inside my bag. And I never lose sight of my bag.
Former Miami-Dade Police Major Ignacio Alvarez tells us to keep his belongings safe, he never places valuables out in the open on trays. Instead, puts them in his bag, watches it, and takes inventory after going through security.
After I clear security, I go through my bag and get everything back out. I get my wallet, I get my watch, I get my phone, I get my cash, and put it back in my pockets and go to make sure nothing is missing.
In a statement, TSA said in part that it has no tolerance for misconduct in the workplace, saying any employee who fails to meet our fundamental ethical standards is held accountable. To see TSA's full response, you can go to our website, cbsmiami.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out the safety tips that we have there. More ways of keeping your belongings safe when you go through the checkpoint. At MIA, Ted Scouten, CBS News Miami.
And out of the latest on the housing crisis, several families have been forced out of their Miami high-rises after an investment firm bought the building. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor has a reason they're being forced to go and what's next for the Biscayne 21 condo.
This is the high-rise. They have to leave. It has a bay view. We were invited by condo owners to come in and interview them in their units. But as we came to the gate, we were told we were not allowed in because we are media.
Oh, is that my gas?
Jacqueline Fraga called the police when the security guard refused to let us in.
I am the owner of this unit.
In a matter of minutes, several Miami police units showed up. And after almost an hour of tension, an officer confirmed what we knew.
Because he is the attorney and the owner on the property, he doesn't want media on. Doesn't mean he said you guys are more than welcome to come in. He just doesn't want media on the property.
He is Lawrence Picon, the attorney for the property, who declined to be interviewed by CBS News Miami. Inside the building, Nicolas Bello, one of the unit owners, waiting for us. He was packing his belongings. He has to be out of the unit he owns tomorrow.
So I cannot really, do anything but hurry and try to say whatever I can say.
He said he will miss his view. Frana Marino feels the same.
So this is prime property in South Florida.
They are 2 of the owners who filed a lawsuit in mid-May in Miami-Dade Circuit Court. They are suing Two Roads Development, the real estate firm that now owns the building. Unit owners allege they were manipulated, deceived, bullied, and pressured to sell their units to the developer.
There is so much pain and anguish and attachment.
This is the letter they received informing them the building services would be discontinued Friday. But this wasn't the first they had heard they needed to leave. Residents first learned of that as early as March of this year. As you know, the building is in need of significant deferred maintenance, which precedes TRD Biscayne LLC's completed acquisition of the property in December 2022. About 184 units at the property have been successfully vacated with the exception of 6 remaining units, remaining as unlawful inhabitants of the property.
My property is not for sale. I never put my property on the market. I came to this apartment in my wedding dress with my husband, got married in downtown. I made my children in this unit, and I wanted to come and retire here.
The building owner told me, quote, "The last remaining residents of Biscayne 21 rejected above-market proposals for their units, refused our offer to cover hotel stay as they transition from their former homes."
It's just heart-wrenching because if they can take that, they can take anything.
Generally, developers have the ability in South Florida to terminate associations, specifically condominium associations.
Jeffrey Kominski is a real estate attorney with specialty in condominium law. We asked him about the fallout from Florida law that allows condo boards to be dissolved and buildings sold with just 80% approval from those with voting interest.
Is it safe to say that we will be seeing this more often?
Unfortunately, more and more we're seeing more terminations of associations after developers are trying to engulf a supermajority vote and enacting a termination provision.
In Miami, Ivan Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
And staying on the housing front right now, rising rents are forcing people to leave South Florida, making it tough for companies to find and keep workers, especially in the service industry. Cities and counties have been working on building affordable housing and meet the demand. CBS News Miami's Joe Murray takes a look at Broward County's budget proposal and what it means for everyone struggling to pay the monthly rent.
Even though friends warned him, nothing prepared Devin Hutchinson for the sticker shock of renting an apartment in South Florida, $2,000 a month.
It's hard. I got to work a lot, and I'm in school, so it's just hard to balance everything.
With rents out of reach for many workers, especially in the service industry, Broward is setting aside money for housing help. Next year, $20 million earmarked for affordable housing, $1.3 million supportive housing, and $300,000 for a pallet village to house 10 families. These pallets are small, easily constructed temporary housing units. If anyone knows about housing challenges in Broward, it's Joel Smith and Jarvis Brunson with Deerfield Beach Community Cares. They help families in need, and we asked them to weigh in on the county funding.
But it's certainly not enough.
They say the county needs to look at helping families beyond housing.
With the status of insurance, with the status of what it costs to buy a car and maintain a car, with the status of certainly food and basic needs, people cannot survive at the wages they're making.
We always talk about family values and spending more quality time with our families, but if we don't invest more into our communities, we won't see that family values or those families' roots or family values instilled, because families have to spend more time out in the workforce and less time with the family because of our rising costs.
If you're wondering what county-funded affordable housing looks like, this apartment building going up in Hollywood near the Hard Rock Casino is an example, but it's a small piece of the puzzle. The county estimates 75,000 households are struggling with the rent. The new money will build between 300 and 400 apartments at a cost of $500 to $1,100 a month in rent. The funding is almost a done deal. Broward County Commissioners will vote on the budget next week. This money, these millions of dollars coming from the property taxes we all pay. In Pompano Beach, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, see how Miami City Commissioner is stepping up in a big way to help a beloved Overtown Church with financial hardships.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back to Headliners, and thanks so much for watching. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. A more than 100-year-old church in Miami's historic Overtown neighborhood has been saved. CBS News Miami's Tanya Francois is here to explain why saving the church was more than just about dollars and cents.
You have to maintain your history. And this church, from the time Thetford Johnson was the pastor up until recently, was a beacon of hope for the people in this community.
James McQueen says the St. John Institutional Missionary Baptist Church used to be his playground growing up. The church sits in the heart of Overtown on 3rd Avenue and Northwest 13th Street. So when the church fell into financial hardships due to a bad mortgage taken out by a now former pastor, it was a woman whose last name happens to be King who he worked with.
Well, this is one of the oldest churches in this community, and it was established in 1911. And to lose this church would be a setback.
Christine King is a Miami City Commissioner and heads the CRA.
This property would have sold to developers or whoever who don't care about the community and the uniqueness of this neighborhood.
$3 million is what it cost to save the parking lot and the church's 2 nearby buildings. The church itself was never at risk, except one of the entrances is through that very parking lot. McQueen says the future of Overtown depends on keeping its history preserved.
I remember this as a vibrant community, and I watched it destroyed.
And now?
And now, if you look around, you can see that Overtown is on its way back.
Tanya Francois, CBS News, Miami.
And turning now to mental health matters, CBS News Miami's commitment to finding solutions in our community. Practicing mindfulness means living in the present. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones spoke to a local athlete who used meditation to rehab his mind and body when life's challenges tried to knock him down.
Jeff Kobe's love of the game has taken him from New York to overseas and back again. It was shortly after his college ball days at Columbia when he went to play overseas. There, he would face the first of many challenges.
We had a great preseason. I was racking up MVPs left and right, and the chemistry was just there. Long story short, he had to play somebody that was native over me.
After a stellar preseason, he was lost, but he had a choice to make.
I had 2 options, sink or swim, self-destruct, or look deeper.
So, he dug deep.
I found this article from the Harvard Business Review and basically talked about, successful CEOs and leaders and how mindfulness and meditation plays a big part in their success.
He was apprehensive at first.
I was confused. I was like, is this real? Like, is this an actual thing that can legitimately help me?
Soon, he'd begin to see the benefits.
Although my external world was in shambles, I was feeling a lot more at peace with myself.
Kobe tells me mindfulness really transformed his life. September 12th is a day dedicated to making sure other people know it can change theirs too. In 2018, Kobe signed a preseason deal with the Knicks. He was the last man cut that year, but he was headed for his second chance the following year.
I was so happy.
Unfortunately, an injury would bench him.
As we were driving, a car just came out of nowhere and just T-boned the vehicle. And that left me dazed, confused, and stunned for 2 years.
Still, out of the darkness, Kobe chooses to see the light, and he's hoping others can too.
In basketball, there's so many factors and elements that you always have to be cognizant about. So I really believe that just having that groundedness can really enhance your game and take you to the next level, because it literally did it for me.
Kobe is hoping to spread awareness about meditation and being grounded. And he still has dreams to one day grace the court again and feel that joy and maybe even win another championship. In Doral, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
We can certainly all learn from him. And when we come back, see how one Aventura senior is giving back to the community, proving age is just a number, and making Miami proud.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. Giving back to the community knows no age limit. One Aventura senior is leading a group of volunteers and making Miami proud. Here's Lauren Pastrana.
In a prime location. This is what Carol Uris envisioned when she decided to retire at the V at Aventura Senior Living Community.
We have to see all the other bags that are ready to go.
But she actually spends a lot of time here, still working hard.
So I thought I was coming here to retire. But guess what? I didn't retire. I found out that you don't retire from giving back.
Carol leads the Friends Helping Friends volunteer group at V. A former teacher, she has a heart for service.
I've always been a volunteer. Goes back to high school, college, and then I was a volunteer at the Veterans Hospital, the old Biltmore Hotel during Vietnam, when the men were coming back from Vietnam. And then I was a foster mother while I was teaching school, and adopted a special needs child.
Carol and a small but mighty team of volunteers take on projects to benefit various local organizations. They collect clothes and personal items for foster children, Jewish Community Services, the Humane Society of Greater Miami, the Chapman Partnership, and more, as well as provide meals to Aventura police officers and firefighters during the holidays.
Anything that she can do, once she learns of a need in the community, she'll just jump both feet in and recruit some other residents, and before you know it, they have a big program going to, whether it be gathering some things or raising money. It's been incredible.
Viet Aventura Executive Director Renee Garvin was so inspired by the work, she set them up with new wheels called the Vehicle for Good, so they can spread their kindness across the community.
And these residents they've done such amazing things throughout their lives, and now here in their 70s, 80s, and sometimes even 90s, they're still so active and looking at ways that they can help others. Talk about living life well, happy, healthy, and just, making sure that no matter what age you are, you can continue to make a difference in the world around you. To me, it's very inspiring.
The desire to contribute to society, to make the world a better place, does not need to diminish as one grows older. And at the V Living, we are not retiring. We're living to help other people. And I think that's one of my purposes.
Carol hopes the Friends Helping Friends program in her community serves as a model for other senior living facilities. Lauren Pastrana, CBS News, Miami.
Great advice. And finally on our show, a gym designed for all kids to safely enjoy playing is now open in North Miami. It's called We Rock the Spectrum, and CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner takes us inside.
A huge showing for the grand opening of the first We Rock gym in Miami-Dade County. This gym, all of the equipment here is sensory-based. They even have a calming room to make all children feel included. Set, go! Chanel Chira is the proud owner of the first We Rock the Spectrum gym in Miami-Dade County.
3 years ago now, we had taken our 2 special needs children to another We Rock the Spectrum location, and I was just amazed.
All of the equipment,
this is our state-of-the-art calming room,
has a purpose.
Normally we have equipment that only you would see if you, let's say, were in like an occupational therapist office, or if your child had therapies. So what's great is all of our equipment gives proprioceptive input, vestibular input. We have a lot of imaginative play stations.
We Rock partnered with the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities at the University of Miami.
Families of children with autism often feel isolated. They find that there's no place for them to go and feel safe. And this gym is one additional example of a great place for families to feel comfortable and accepted.
We Rock has workout classes meant for all members of the family too.
I bring fun way of training to kids. I want to keep people in shape, but I do it in a manipulative way where they're having fun, but they're still working on their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills. We work on music in the class, running, jumping. Parents also get a workout. When I'm around, everyone is burning some calories.
This is a place that everyone should be able to take their children to, whether you have a neurodivergent child or neurotypical child.
All the families I spoke to here today are simply ecstatic to have a place as inclusive as this close to them. In North Miami, Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
And thank you so much for joining us this half hour on Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great day.